Hello, young scholars. This is Mr. Martyron with your flip classroom on Archipelagos of Trade, following the Silk Road. And in this video, we're going to talk about the highly sophisticated and expansive commercial network that developed in the 13th and 14th centuries that enabled things to move around the world, including ideas and germs throughout Afro-Eurasia. So we'll start in the China Sea. China was the key to making the whole system work. It controlled most of the silk and spice trade, and traders were consistently seeking access to China's products and markets. From there, trade moved on to India and Southeast Asia. And trading in Southeast Asia consisted of Muslim and Hindu and Buddhist trading blocs. These groups continued after the Chinese left the area. None of these groups wanted to control the region. They were more interested in trade. From there, the trade route landed in Oman in the Middle East. It was the Arabian Sea's most important trading port. No particular state dominated the Arabian Sea. Rather, many states controlled key ports. Among them, the Swahili-speaking port at Zanzibar was the main link from East Africa. They traded gold and ivory and enslaved people from deep in Central Africa. Once trade reached the Middle East, Baghdad was at the heart of this global community. It had easy access to the Persian Gulf and the Mediterranean Sea. And once goods left Baghdad, they could go in a variety of different directions. They could head north into Western Europe, they could head west into the Mediterranean Sea, and from there they would go to Venice and Genoa in Italy, or they could head due west into North Africa. So what was traded along the Silk Road? Well, among other things, spices were really important. Spices from Southeast Asia, including peppers, cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Okay? Also profitable materials like gold, copper, and diamonds. Natural resources such as ivory, fur, honey, wax, glass, wine, and fruits. Manufactured products were incredibly important, like leather, brass, copper, wool, cotton, glass, and iron. And finally, exotic animals were traded. These included horses, camels, hunting dogs, as well as exotic birds and other mammals. Now, I want to take a moment and talk about why spices were so important. So number one, spices were used to preserve food. Remember, this is a time period without any modern refrigeration, so spices were salted in order to dry them out and preserve them. The next problem is, with all the salt and spices that were used to dry the food out to begin with, you need to add taste to them. So the second reason why spices were so important to Europeans was that they added flavor to the salted meats. And then finally, spices were used in medicines during the scientific revolution. So spices were incredibly important to Europeans, and they played a vital role in that silk trade route. So what effect did the Black Death have on trade? Well, we know that during the 14th century, the trade system was weakened by diseases. And as a result of this disease, trade ports were closed in order to stop the spread of the disease. And in the aftermath of the plague, we know that 200 million people died all over Afro-Eurasia. Regions lost anywhere between 30 to 50% of their populations, and this disrupted the economics and the political systems throughout Afro-Eurasia. As the trade routes in China, India, and the Middle East begin to break down, Europeans are desperate. Two countries in particular, Spain and Portugal, begin searching for new commercial opportunities around the Muslim blockade. And this is going to be the main reason why Europeans sought a new alternative route to Asia by heading west. So Europeans are now free to fill this vacuum, this void that was created by the Chinese, as they begin to take the lead in exploration and begin expanding their own trade networks. The result was the emergence of the modern global trade system that's controlled by Europe. And we're going to see European trade increase very aggressively throughout the world.